Hey, welcome back to the channel. Just have to forgive this mattress in the back here. It is what it is. Firstly, I'll just get out of the way. None of this is financial advice. Do your own research. But it's been my theme on this channel, my opinion, that we're headed into a market crash in 2023. And, I've made no hiding of the fact I think that, this is going to be an enormous collapse. And so, since my last video, what are some of the things that have been playing out, taking place? Well, firstly, we have had interest rates go up. We've had Jerome Powell raise interest rates. We've had Australia, New Zealand, and I believe the ECB just raised as well. So globally, there's a trend. Inflation is still really, really high. Oil prices have come down a bit, but if we get a large increase in the price of oil, then a lot of this inflation, and they say inflation is coming down a bit in New Zealand, but I just don't believe that, because everything I look at is still really expensive, horrendously expensive. Minimum wages are going up. Labor is still scarce. Obviously we've had a flood, so there's going to be a lot of cleanup work involved. There's just been a lot of damage in regions here. So what the unemployment looks like, I don't know exactly but it is ticking up. It is going up. And I think we are going to get more unemployment because, while we might have jobs, cleaning up debris, we've also got the issue of, mortgage rates going up, people getting into, there's a lot of mortgage distress out there. There's a lot of it. The banks are hiding it, but, the bank collapses we've seen recently, for example, in America, have actually been bigger than what happened in all the collapses in 2008. So this is major what's going on. And, I'm reading articles this morning about banks saying that people are, they're trying to downsize. So if they've got $1 million mortgage, they're saying, we can live in a smaller house for $800,000 and get rid of $200,000 of debt. But they're probably really downgrading. That's a last resort to to distress, really, isn't it? Because while people do downsize as they get older, that's usually free will, or they need some money for retirement, but they're normally not in a market that's gone down. If that was really the case, they would have sold it 18 months ago. And there is a feeling that this crash is playing out really slow, like it could almost go on forever, but no, it's actually happening quite fast. And I think that people still haven't woken up to the fact that things are as bad as what they are. There must be so much mortgage distress. Consumer debt is at record levels. Interest rates are high on the consumer debt. And, what is this housing market, for example, here, where everyone's levered up? Well, most people are levered up. What does it look like under another percentage point hike, interest rate hike? This is a big deal, for another % of mortgages. And I think some of the banks are also still assuming that interest rates are going to come down because inflation's going to go away. Unemployment's going to rise. The economy's going to go downhill, and so the bank will stimulate. The Reserve Bank will stimulate the economy. But I don't think that's really See, that's the distinction people aren't making. How bad would 2008 have been? How much worse would it have got if the governments around the world, the central banks around the world, said, "Hey, let the chips fall where they may. We're just going to let what happens happens. This is just the market's going to, this is a free market. And they just allowed that to collapse. Like, we would have had a horrendous recession compared to what we did. And what we did was quite bad. But instead they went down the track of quantitative easing and bailing everyone out and printing money and all this sort of stuff. And record deficits and all this sort of thing. Well, if they're in a position where that's not an option, see, they may not be in a position where they can cut rates because the inflation might just continue to be such a problem that they've got to keep either raising them, holding them up where they are higher for longer, or raising them further than what people are expecting. I mean, people have already declared victory over inflation. Some people, they've said, right, the Reserve Bank's raised rates, the inflation's gone from 7.2 to 6.7, allegedly. That means that the inflation is going to keep coming down, and that's it, game over. Like, soon we'll be able to have 2% interest rates again, and the mortgage market will take off. And I simply don't believe that. There's also a lot of spin that the immigration is picking up. And when the immigration picks up, you're going to have all these people that are going to come into New Zealand and buy all these houses up and bid the prices up, and all these first home buyers that are standing on the sidelines waiting for the bottom of the market to eventuate. Eventually they're going to wake up one morning and say, oh, we missed the bottom. Now everybody's buying again. There's fear of missing out again. And damn it, every time we go to these open homes, there's always people with more money outbidding us. Now, that's a possibility. But I think there's going to be more of a case of mortgagee sales. People are going to hit the wall. I mean, it's just mathematical certainty as far as I see it, because once people lose, like somebody loses their job in that household, or both lose that job, it's over. They can't, how do they pay the mortgage? Even those who are not over leveraged to a certain extent, they might have $500,000 in mortgage debt, which is seen as to be quite low this day and age. But if they haven't got their jobs, or they're only down to one income, and the interest rate's really high on the debt, then they just simply won't be able to hold on to those homes. So there's going to be a wave, I think, of mortgagee sales, and those people, they might come into the market to buy them up, but there'll be a lot on the market. There'll be a lot of listings. I don't know where all those people will go when they're forced to sell. That's going to be another problem in itself. But you can't just not pay your mortgage. I mean, we're seeing more and more people in mortgage distress, more and more people turning to interest only, more and more people getting into consumer debt. There's people are starting to, sell, like, you can see it online. People sell all their guitars, or they sell, their boat, or they're starting to sell what's not nailed down. There's just things. People are just selling things like, people where they're selling all their guitars, to me is an example of someone going, well, it's either these guitars or I lose my home. The guitars have got to go. So I think that, where we're going to end up this year is a crash, in my opinion. And I think, by August, things are really going to start heating up around the world and around the globe and here in New Zealand. I just can't see anything playing out, and how they're going to because when there's a crash, people think the government can come in and do something and make it all go away. But what they did in the last crash has led us to this crash. And so if they can no longer use those tools and they can only do the opposite, then there's no option. They will just have to let it collapse unless they want to create more inflation. And that's the thing. Bailing everyone out and printing more money and more government spending, it's all inflationary. It's all inflationary. So, I would imagine that gambling to bet that inflation has peaked, interest rates are about to peak, the bottom's in on markets, I personally don't see how that is going to play out. So I'll wrap this up because I've hit 10 minutes, and that's about as long as anyone could probably listen to me. So, yeah, please like, subscribe, write some comments. It does encourage me. Like, I don't make a lot of videos. It's pretty hard when no one even comments and gives their opinion or clicks the like button, you know, like it doesn't really incentivize anyone to continue, because you don't know the value people are getting out of it, you know. So it's really appreciated if you can do those things. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.